Welcome to the series of 600 plus confusing English words. In this session, we are going to learn words like accurate, exact, precise. The word exact means that something is perfectly correct. The word we use exact when something is perfectly correct. There should be an exact replica or exact copy of something. If someone's exact words, the exact wording or phrase should be there, it means that the wording or phrase used is perfectly correct. Then we use the word exact. Exact measurements are used, and exact amounts are used. The time or date or place can be exact. It means that when we use exact, when there is something perfectly correct, when date are perfect correct, when measurements are perfectly correct, when these all the things are correct, then we use accurate, exact. The word accurate can mean perfectly correct as well, but it can also mean almost correct, enough to be useful. The word accurate can mean perfectly correct as well, but it can also mean almost correct, correct enough to be useful. And accurate can be number, and accurate can be measurement, and accurate calculation may be there. It means that a correct number, measurement or calculation. We use accurate when something is perfectly correct as well, when it mean it is also almost correct. When something is almost correct enough to be useful, then we use accurate. We use accurate like an accurate description, and information can be accurate, translation can be accurate, prediction can be accurate, estimate can be accurate, and it can be accurate memory. As we told you, accurate can mean perfectly correct. Accurate can mean perfectly correct, but it can be almost correct, correct enough to be useful. If something is correct enough to be useful, then we use accurate. And when something is very correct, then we use exact. The word exact means that something is perfectly correct. If something is perfectly correct, then we use exact. And accurate is also correct, but it can be almost correct, correct enough to be useful, then we can use accurate. The word accurate can be used as an adverb of degree, like something can be extremely perfect, something can be extremely perfect, totally accurate. This means that if something is perfectly correct, then it is exact. When something is perfectly correct, we use exact, like exact copy, exact replica. Exact can be data. Data can be also accurate, but here accuracy means that data is perfect enough to be used, so we used accurate data. But exact data means that the data is exactly and perfectly correct. If something can be reasonably, generally, largely, pretty, fairly accurate. These are collocations Accurate can be reasonably accurate. Accurate can be generally accurate. The word precise. Now we come to the word precise. Precise also means perfectly correct. The word precise also means perfectly correct. The precise wording of contract. The precise wording of the contract. The same words contained in the contract. If some sentence is written in the contracted form, and in that contracted form the same words of the main sentence are used, then we can use precise. Precise can be sentence, precise can be words, precise can be measurements. Precise measurements means that measurements that are correct. Exact measurement also means that measurement is correct, but here precise means the measurement is 102% correct at the precise moment. That means at the exactly moment. Precise has an additional meaning, that is correctly expressed or carefully distinct. A precise description can be. A precise description means a clear and detailed description. If the description is detailed and clear, then we can use a precise description. A precise can be, direction can be precise. Precise direction means a clear and detailed direction. If someone gives you precise direction, it means that he give you clear and detailed direction, that you don't need any another advice to know to the direction. Like, can you be more precise? Can you be more precise? It means that can you say it more clearly or specifically. If you want something in more clear and specific way, you can ask them for more precise information. Now we come to the next words like ache, pain and hurt. Ache, pain and hurt. An ache is discomfort that continues for some time. It is usually associated with the specific part of the body, such as headache, stomach, a toothache and earache. After you exercise the next day, your muscles will probably ache. An ache is usually not extremely strong, so you can try to ignore it. Where pain is usually stronger, more sudden and more difficult to ignore. You would feel pain when you cut yourself or hit your head on something. If you exercise and you injure yourself, break a bone or tear muscles, then you feel pain. That will be pain. Where ache is temporary, very temporary, like headache, stomach ache, a toothache. This can be associated with a specific part of body. Ache can be associated with a specific part of body, whereas pain is more stronger, sudden or difficult to ignore. We have also the expression aches and pains, which describes general and various physical discomforts. Your age 90 year, you're not. Let your grandfather's age is 90 year and might complain about all the aches and pains he has at his age. Now we move on to the hurt. The hurt not. We move to the word hurt. Hurt is a little different because it is usually used as an adjective or adverb, not a noun, to describe an ache or pain. You can take the example of hurt, like my ankle hurts. It means that you have a pain or ache in your ankle. If your neck hurts, it means that you have a pain or ache in your neck. Here you can see that hurt is used as an adjective, and in general and usually hurt is used as an adjective or verb. Hurt is also used to mean injure, like don't play with that knife. It means that you could hurt yourself. If you play with that knife, you could hurt yourself, so that it is asked to not play with knife. He was badly hurt in the car accident. Here hurt means injury, injure. Finally, all three of these words can be used to refer to an emotional pain as well as physical pain. Like the example, my son is in prison. The situation is causing me a lot of heartache. Here, heartache is defining an emotional anguish. So, you can use all these three words, pain, ache and hurt, as an emotional and physical pain. It can be used as. Now, if we took another example, it took her years to move past the pain of her divorce. Here it talks about emotional injury. I was extremely hurt that he didn't invite me to his wedding. Here, the word hurt express upset, sadness. So all these three words can be used as an emotional or physical pain. Now we move to the next words, actual, current and present. Actual is very different from current and present. Current and present refers to the things happening now, not in the past or future. And actual refers to the things that are true. There's a lot of difference between these all words. Actual refers to the things that are true, not things that are false. And current and present refer to the things happening now, not in the past or future. The current employment rate is 8%. It means the rate now of unemployment is 8%. The article claims that unemployment is at 5%. What the article claims that employment it as 5%, but the actual rate is around 8%. It means the correct rate is 8%. If we talk about the correct rate, then it is 8%. And if we talk about the claiming of the article, then it claims at 5%. Now we take another example. Barack Obama is currently the president of United States, but now, incorrect. Barack Obama is not. Trump is the president of United States. Trump is the president now. So current Trump is the president of United States. Another example we can take, the language spoken in Brazil is actually Portuguese, not Spanish. Actually is used to make a correction. We use actually to make a correction here. Portuguese is not the true language spoken in Brazil. In Brazil, Spanish is not spoken. In Brazil, the actual language is Portuguese. Now what about the current and present? These two words are usually the same. Sometimes current is used in the sense of generally now, and present is often used in the sense of immediate now. Current is used in the sense of sometimes generally now, and present is used in the sense of immediate now. In the palace or moment. Here we take example. My girlfriend currently lives in New York, but she is in Los Angeles at present. My girlfriend currently lives in New York, but she is in Los Angeles at present. It means that in general she is in New York, but at this very moment she is in where? Los Angeles. In general she is in New York, so we used currently here. So we used currently. My girlfriend currently lives in New York. Here we used currently. It means that in general she is in New York, but she is in Los Angeles at present. It means that at this very moment she is in where? She is in Los Angeles. We move to the next example. The current situation is good, but the present case is an emergency. Here the sentence means that in general the situation is good nowadays. The current situation yani nowadays situation, in general situation. If we talk about the situation in general, it means the current situation is good nowadays, but right now, if we talk about right now, we have an emergency, so we use here present case. The current situation is good, but the present case is in an emergency. At present always means now, but there can be some confusions with the word presently. Presently can mean now or very soon. At present means now. The word at present means now, but presently can mean now also, very soon too. We take an example. He will be here presently. Now he will be here presently. Here presently is working as an adverb, and it says that he will be here very soon. Another example we take. She is presently working on a new project. She is presently working on a new project. It means that she is working on a new project right now. In the previous example, we took an example in the previous page. He will be right back here presently means he will be right back here very shortly, and Here we see the example, she is presently working on a new project. Here it means that she is working on this project, on a new project right now. You can know which meaning it has by the verbs. If presently is used with will, then it means very soon. If presently is used with will, then it means very soon in the future. And if presently is used with is or are or other verbs, it means that now. Now your confusion gets clear here. Now we move to the next word, administrator, boss and manager. A manager is somebody who has a level of control and responsibility over other people in a company or organization. A manager is somebody who has a level of control or responsibility over other people in a company or organization. For example, in a small clothing store, the sales people would be responsible for selling clothes and helping customers, and the manager would be responsible for making the salesperson's schedule in the organization. And the word boss simply refers to the person above you in the company hierarchy. Let's say we have a company with a president, vice president, director, manager, employees. If you are one of the employees, then the manager is your boss. If you are the director, then the vice president is your boss in the company. Here it all gets clear. Now I think you also get clear with these all the things. Your boss is the person supervising you, which may be responsible for evaluating your work or giving approval for certain decisions. And an administrator is simply a person who does administrative work. It means working with document, paperwork, information and data, etc. An administrator can be a manager or boss too, if he or she is the leader of the team of employees. Now we move to the next words, adverse and averse. The word adverse refers to something that is opposing. It goes against what you want and is often unfavorable, harmful or challenging. Like heavy rain, heavy winds or high winds, icy roads. These all situations are adverse, and adverse can be weather because they interfere with the operation of normal life and transportation. If something interferes with your normal life or transportation or something else, you can use adverse. If a medicine makes the patient health get worse, not better, it is having an adverse effect. If a decision has adverse consequences, it means that the results are opposite from what you wanted. And if the results are opposite from what you want, the situation is adverse situation. Some people pronounce this word adverse and other pronunciations adverse. We often use the noun form adversity for difficulty conditions. Someone who grew up in a poor family and later become the financially successful and overcome. And later if someone becomes successful and in his earlier life he was from a very poor background, then you can say that that person has overcome adversity. While the word adverse describes a situation, the word averse describes people. And it means that the person is not willing to do something. If your parents want everything to stay the same, they are averse to change. If your parents want everything to stay the same, then he is aversing the situation. He is not willing to change, then they are too averse. And if someone who doesn't think it is a good idea to invest money in the stock market is to averse risk, it means that averse is used in the situation. Averse describes the people. The person is not willing to do something. The noun form of averse is aversion, and it also refers to a strong dislike or unwillingness. For what? A strong dislike and a strong unwillingness to do something. If you have an aversion to broccoli, it means you really don't like broccoli and are not likely to eat it. So you are simply, you have an aversion to broccoli. Now we move to the next words, advice and advise. What? Advice and advise. Advice is a noun where advise is a verb. The only difference between two words is advice is a noun and advise is a verb. In example, we see this. She gave me some good advice. Here advice is noun. And if someone advised you to get some rest, then the used word advised is verb. There is also a pronunciation difference. Advise has an S sound and advise has a Z sound. So don't make the common error of saying advises. So don't make the common error of saying advices and the word advice is. However, you can say pieces of advice because this is noun and noun can be countable. Sorry, you can't say advices because this is uncountable noun, and if we make uncountable noun a countable noun, then we use some words like pieces. So the correct sentence is pieces of advice. The consultant gave me 3 pieces of advice for my business. Now we move to the next words, affect and effect. Affect is a verb used for the process of one thing causing another thing to change. Here also the difference between affect and effect is a verb that is used for the process of one thing causing another thing to change. Effect is a noun and it means that the end result of something. So the sentence can be the disease is affecting my ability to breathe. Here affect is used and affect is a verb, so the sentence is correct. Now we move to the next example. The medicine had an instant effect on the pain. Here effect is noun and the sentence is correct. In spoken English, affect and effect are pronounced the same. so don't worry. Now, afraid, scared and frightened. When using these words to describe someone's emotional state after the verb to be and before of, you can use afraid or scared with no change in meaning. Like, she is afraid of spiders. This means that she is scared of spiders. Here we clear you that afraid and scared, we use these words to describe someone's emotional state. What we use these words to describe someone's emotional state after the verb to be and before of. It means that after the verb to be and before of, you can use afraid and scared. Frightened of can be used, but it is not as common. You can use of with afraid, you can of with scared, you can use also of with frightened, but with frightened it is not usual. However, when used in active voice and the subject of the sentence is a scary thing, you can use only scared or frightened, not afraid. If the sentence is in active voice and if the subject is something a scary thing, like the loud noise scared me. Here the noise is loud and it is very scary, so we use the loud noise scared me and the loud noise frightened me. You can use scary or frightened to describe something that causes fear. Like, it was a scary experience. The experience was scary. It was a frightening experience. It means that the experience was frightening. And if the subject of any sentence, if the sentence is in active voice and the subject is scary or frightening, then we are wanted to use scare or frighten. There we will not use afraid. Now we have the words after and later. We can use after only if there is some phrase added with after, and use later alone. At the end of sentence or phrase, we use later alone, and if we use after, then there should be a phrase after, like I'll call you later. Here it can be also used as I will call you after I get home from work. Here you can see that after a phrase is used, I get home. If you don't want to use this phrase, you can use only later. Here you can see that a phrase is used, I get home from work. If we move to the next, first he bought a new car. 2 weeks later, he bought a new motorcycle. Here he bought a new motorcycle 2 weeks after he bought a car. Here you can also see here that after is followed by a phrase. Here the phrase is he bought a car. If you don't want to use phrase, then you have to use letter. You can say letter plus time period to refer an unspecified time in the future which is still within the period. For example, like I'll finish the project later this week. Here letter is followed by period of time, and if you want to use after, I will finish the project after this week. It can be too. Here we move to the next example. We will go on vacation later this year. So letter can be also followed by a phrase. And it is advised that never end a sentence with after. Instead you can use afterwards. You can use, if you want to end a letter or end a sentence with after, you can't use. You can use, instead you can use afterwards. Here we take example. Did you so straight home after the baseball game? Another is, no, we went out for drinks after. Here we can't use after in the end of sentence. Here the sentence will be correct if we use, no, we went out for drinks afterwards. So if someone asks you that, did you go straight home after teaching? You can say yes or no, we went. If you say no, then you can say that no, we went out for something else afterwards. In and you can't use after. Now we have agenda, itinerary, schedule. An agenda is a list of program of things to be done. Workers who are well organized will often have an agenda for meetings. A list of specific topics to discuss or things to accomplish during the meeting. If there is a list of a specific topic to discuss or things to accomplish during the meeting, then that is agenda. If something is on the agenda or on your agenda, it means that you or people are willing to discuss it or work on it. It means that agenda simply means that something like a plan, a list of specific topics to discuss or the things to accomplish during the meeting. Then you use agenda. So we have the expression like a hidden agenda. It means that what hidden agenda? It means that a secret plan that you are hiding by pretending you have a different intentions. If you are intending to do something and if you have a hidden plan to something, then we use a hidden agenda. Some people also use the word agenda to mean their calendar. If someone asks if you're free for list, if you are free for lunch next week, you might say, let me check my agenda to find out what day you are available. Here the agenda means what? Calendar. So you are speaking that let you checking your, so you are checking your agenda to find out which day you are available. And the word itinerary. Itinerary is a list or plan of something. Itinerary is a list or plan of something to do during a trip. This is a plan or list of something. On an organized tour, the travel agency will give the travelers an itinerary describing the different places that will go and things they will see. That is itinerary. A schedule is a list of things to be done at a certain time. Agenda can be also a list, but the list of topics to be discussed on. So here, a schedule is a list of things to be done at a certain time. A conference, like for example, might have a schedule like this: breakfast 7 to 9 a.m. main speaker, the schedule will be 9 to 10:30 a.m. workshop on 11 to 12 a.m. and the lunch will be 12 to 2 p.m. Public transportations like buses and trains also have schedules. Another word for schedule when we use as a noun is timetable. It means that timetable is equal to what? Schedule. But if we use as a noun, then we use a timetable. Schedule can also be for long time projects. The schedule defines what task must be done for a certain date. For example, the construction of a building. Lay the foundation by February 1. Build the structure by July 1. Install the electrical systems by August 1. This is schedule. When referring to longer term projects, another word for schedule is timeline. If something is done for progressing faster than expected, it is ahead of schedule, and if something is delayed, it is behind schedule. These are collocations: ahead of schedule and behind schedule. Behind schedule and ahead of schedule is a collocation. Finally, the word schedule can be used as a verb for establishing an appointment or action at a certain time. The word schedule can be used as a verb establishing an appointment or action at a certain time. For example, I scheduled my dentist appointment for next Thursday. What we done? I scheduled, because we are establishing an appointment or action at a certain time, so we use scheduled. I scheduled my dentist appointment for next Thursday. But here I make it clear that timetable can't be used as a verb, and for noun, timetable and schedule both can be used, but in verb only schedule can be used for a long term, a specific period. Thank you. Lots of thanks. We will meet you in the next session shortly. Thank you once again.